At the beginning of the movie, we see Qodrat performing an exorcism on his own son, Alif. He tries everything to save his only child, but after his wife's death, he has already lost his faith in Allah, and that's exactly what allows the demon to win. Through Alif, the demon tells Qodrat that because of his guilt, he will suffer for the rest of his life. Then, right in front of his eyes, the tearful demon twists Alif's neck and kills him. This incident completely shatters Qodrat, destroying whatever faith he had left in Allah. Alif's lifeless body lies in his lap. In the next scene, we see Qodrat in prison. It's revealed that he has been locked up for the past 3 years, accused of Alif's murder, because obviously, the police don't believe in jinns or demons. During his time in jail, he never once offers prayer. His fellow inmate urges him to keep faith in Allah, but Qodrat bitterly replies that the demon took his wife first, then his son. So where was Allah then? Is this what he gets for calling upon him his whole life? Suddenly, the prison warden arrives, drags Qodrat into another room, and begins to hang him. We learn that this warden has also been possessed by the same demon. Even after all these years, the demon hasn't left Qodrat alone. When it finds out that Qodrat has been pardoned and is about to be released, it decides to kill him before he can walk free. However, just before dying, Qodrat finally declares the greatness of Allah. Because of this, Allah forgives him and sends him back to earth. When Qodrat opens his eyes, he finds himself lying among dead bodies in a morgue. He escapes from there and returns to his village. After 3 years, as soon as he arrives, he notices a signboard that reads, "This land belongs to Pesantren Kapan boarding school. Entry of locals is not allowed." Qodrat is shocked to see that the entire village is suffering from a severe drought. As he enters, he hears screams coming from a house. He understands what's going on, but ignores it and keeps walking. Inside that house, a girl named Jihan is possessed by a jinn. From the conversation, it becomes clear that such cases are spreading through the village like a disease. Jihan is tied up inside the house, and when they try to calm her down, she violently hits her head and ends up killing herself. Qodrat then goes to the Pesantren Kapan school, where he meets Jafar, his childhood friend. They both had learned exorcism together. Qodrat asks him about the condition of the village and the strange occurrences. Jafar explains that everything was fine until the day news of Qodrat's imprisonment and Alif's death spread. From that very day, illness and an unknown horror began to take over the village. After that, Jafar took responsibility for running the school, and now the villagers respect him as their master. Jafar then asks Qodrat what happened to him. He used to have unwavering faith in Allah and knew everything about his power. Every exorcism he ever performed was successful, so what went wrong with his own son? Qodrat remains silent because he has no answer. After this, we're introduced to a family living in a village. The members are a mother named Yasmin, her son Alif, and her daughter Asha. In a tragic accident, the father dies on the spot, and Alif loses the ability to walk. One night when Yasmin tells Alif to go to sleep, he replies, "I'll sleep after I play with Dad." Hearing this unsettles Yasmin. Alif then opens the wardrobe in his room and seems to be talking to someone inside. Meanwhile, Asha comes home late from school, which Yasmin doesn't like because the situation in the village hasn't been good lately, especially after what happened to her friend Jihan. But Asha refuses to believe any of it. According to her, Jihan wasn't possessed. She needed a doctor, not some spiritual healer. Yasmin also tells Asha about Alif's strange behavior with the wardrobe. Just then, we see Alif staring intensely at it. Suddenly, the wardrobe door creaks open on its own, and his wheelchair starts moving forward by itself. Hearing Alif scream, everyone rushes in, but the wheelchair is suddenly thrown toward them as if by some unseen force. Later, Alif is found lying face down in front of the wardrobe, burning with a high fever. They somehow get through the night by giving him medicine and placing cold compresses on his head. The next day, Alif wakes up and asks, "Where's the wardrobe?" Yasmin tells him she moved it to the storage room. Hearing this, he goes completely silent. When Yasmin tries to feed him, he angrily pushes the food away. That night, when they can't find Alif anywhere in the house, they search everywhere and eventually reach the storage room. There, they find him sitting with his face buried inside the wardrobe. When asked what he's doing, he replies, "Dad said I don't need anyone." Shocked, Yasmin tells him, "Your father is dead." But hearing this, Alif suddenly attacks his own mother. Somehow, she manages to push him away, lock the storage room from outside, and escape. She tells Asha to keep an eye on the locked door and rushes out to find Ustad Jafar. When she reaches the school, she only finds Qodrat there, so she begs him to come along instead. At first, Qodrat refuses, but the moment he hears Alif's name, he remembers something about his own son and agrees to perform an exorcism. Meanwhile, Alif keeps manipulating his sister into opening the door. Since their father died on Asha's birthday, she has never cut a birthday cake again, and Alif uses this emotional weakness to convince her to open the door and come closer. Asha does the same, and as soon as she reaches the wardrobe, Alif suddenly pulls her inside. Right then, Asha experiences a vision. She sees her whole family at home waiting for her with a cake. Her father, standing nearby, hands her a knife and asks her to cut it. But the moment she slices into the cake, blood starts oozing out from inside. In reality, it was all just an illusion. Asha wasn't cutting a cake, she was actually slicing her own wrist with a knife. Luckily, at that exact moment, Yasmin enters with Qodrat. Without wasting any time, Qodrat begins the exorcism. With full faith, he chants the name of Allah and commands the jinn to leave the child's body. Alif keeps mocking Qodrat's faith in Allah again and again. But finally, as black blood starts pouring out of Alif's mouth, the jinn is forced out of his body. Before leaving, it warns Qodrat, "I may be going, but the devil I worship is far more powerful than me. He will definitely come back for revenge." Later, as Qodrat is heading back to the school, the same demonic entity attacks him again, this time in the form of a wolf. Qodrat recognizes it, but the entity frightens him by showing visions of his son Alif and then throws him from above. But the one who is protected by Allah's mercy cannot be killed by any demon. Back at Asha's house, Alif gets possessed once again by an evil spirit. However, within moments, Jafar arrives to take Alif and his family to the school for another exorcism. Around the same time, Qodrat also shows up and tells Jafar that Alif is no longer possessed by a minor jinn. This time it's Aswala, a powerful sorcerer and a direct descendant of the devil. He explains that the powerful jinn he expelled earlier was merely Aswala's henchman, so now he wants to perform the exorcism himself. But Jafar refuses. He says, "I understand everything, but I won't let you perform this exorcism. I don't want you to risk Alif's life in the fire of Aswala's revenge." Hearing this, Qodrat falls silent, and Jafar takes Alif away. The next day, Asha is seen sitting outside the school, crying. Qodrat approaches her and tries to comfort her. He tells her that no matter how bad the situation gets, one should never lose faith in Allah, because that's exactly what the devil wants, and once your faith in Allah is shaken, it won't take long for the devil to destroy you. As they keep talking, the two of them eventually arrive near Jahan's house in the village. Just then, Jahan's father sees Qodrat and angrily tells him to leave. He says people from Jafar's side are not allowed in this part of the village, because when Jahan needed an exorcism, Jafar refused to help since he didn't receive any money or land in return. Saying this, Jahan's father suddenly starts attacking Qodrat. Out of nowhere, Jahan's mother jumps into a pit. Everyone standing there is left completely speechless. Qodrat is utterly confused. Was what he just heard actually true? Without wasting time, he goes straight to Jafar. Meanwhile, Alif's family arrives to take him home. Qodrat confronts Jafar and asks him a direct question. What did he take from Alif's family in exchange for curing him? Money or land? Hearing this, Jafar is visibly shocked. He realizes Qodrat has figured out at least part of his plan. Basically, in this village, Jafar demands a share of people's land in return for performing exorcisms on those possessed by evil spirits. That's why Qodrat had seen a signboard at the village entrance stating that locals are not allowed to enter. Qodrat says, "This isn't what our faith teaches us." In response, Jafar claims he's collecting land and property to build a mosque and start a new religious path. But fooling Qodrat isn't that easy. He asks one simple question. What matters more, a new path or people's lives. Before leaving, Qodrat warns him not to even think about taking Yasmin's land or property. He also tells him never to demand money in exchange for exorcisms, because their teachings don't allow it. But instead of backing down, Jafar tells Qodrat to leave the village immediately. On the other hand, the power suddenly goes out in Yasmin's house. She heads to the storage room to check the meter box, but she senses someone's presence. She picks up a lantern to look around, but suddenly, the flame goes out. No matter how many times she tries to relight it, it keeps extinguishing. Trembling in fear, Yasmin tries one last time to light the lantern, but suddenly, a terrifying entity attacks her and takes control of her body. Meanwhile, when Yasmin doesn't return, Asha goes to look for her. That's when the possessed Yasmin tells Asha to go and bring Jafar. Not understanding what's really happening, Asha rushes out to get him. At the same time, it's time for Qodrat to leave the village. Before going, he comes to say a final goodbye to Kairokim, but as he does, Kairokim tries to whisper something important into his ear. But when Jafar's men chase him down and try to send him back home, we witness a completely different side of Qodrat. He's not just a spiritual healer, he's also a highly skilled martial artist. He brutally takes down Jafar's men, breaking their arms and legs without hesitation. By now, he realizes that Jafar has been hiding something from him. Qodrat then breaks into Jafar's house and hears him whispering something suspicious. He sneaks through a hidden door behind a wardrobe and enters a long tunnel, where he discovers Jafar performing dark black magic rituals. Shocked by this horrifying scene, Qodrat confronts him, and a fierce fight breaks out. But Jafar overpowers him and reveals the shocking truth. Ever since Kairokim fell ill, Jafar had started worshipping Iblis in his greed for wealth and immense power. Using black magic, he summoned Iblis, who deceived him and turned him into his follower by tempting him with power and riches. Jafar then brings a bowl filled with blood and orders Qodrat to drink it, telling him to start worshipping Asawala just like him. Hearing that name, Qodrat is stunned. That means all this time it was Jafar himself who had been using Asawala to possess the entire village, only to later perform fake exorcisms in exchange for money and land. When Qodrat refuses to drink the blood, Jafar attacks him with a knife, but Qodrat fights back, breaking his back and knocking him unconscious with a blow to the head. Just then, Asha arrives, and Qodrat quickly escapes with her toward the house. Meanwhile, Yasmin sets the wardrobe on fire and buries Alif alive. When Qodrat returns and asks where Alif is, she chillingly replies, "Find him yourself," before lunging at him. Qodrat restrains Yasmin from behind and desperately tries to calm her down by invoking Allah's name. But Asawala keeps overpowering her again and again. At the same time, Asha frantically digs through the soil to rescue Alif. Suddenly, Yasmin breaks free, jumps onto Qodrat, and viciously bites down on his ear. Seeing Qodrat losing, Asha grabs a shovel and rushes toward Yasmin to kill her. But Asawala takes the form of her mother, manipulates her, and slams her against the wall. In that moment, Qodrat calls out to Allah, overpowers the entity again, and begins reciting prayers. Defeated, Asawala releases Yasmin. Qodrat then starts digging the soil to pull out Alif, but Asawala plays its final trick. Instead of Yasmin's son, Qodrat sees his own son, Alif. The boy calls out to him. Unable to control himself, Qodrat starts moving toward him, remembering the moment his son died 3 years ago. In this desperate situation, both Yasmin and Asha begin calling out to Allah. Asawala lets out a terrifying scream, and in that instant, Qodrat completes the ritual. Alif is finally okay. The entire village is now free from the dark shadow of the evil. Suffering, drought, and disease, all are gone. With Jafar's death, Kairokim also recovers and resumes teaching religious lessons to the village children. But Qodrat cannot stop here. He is determined to uncover the mystery behind his wife Aziza's death, which still remains unknown to him. Kairokim doesn't stop him. He simply says, "Go, Qodrat, begin your journey." Then he adds, "But how long will you walk on foot?" "Take my bike." The same bike Qodrat had always wanted to ride since childhood is finally handed over to him. After saying goodbye to everyone, Qudrat reaches the edge of the village where Yasmin arrives with her family for a final farewell. Alif, leaving his wheelchair behind, stands up on his own and shouts, "Ustad Qudrat, you have to come back. For all of us." As Qudrat rides away, the screen slowly fades out. With this, the story ends here. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Also subscribe to this channel for more stories like this.